Hey everyone, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. If you're looking to unwind without the hangover, check out Good Fuels. These are THC infused seltzers made with all natural ingredients, clean, crisp, and consistent every time. It's an easy, balanced way to relax, hang out with friends, or just vibe without the drawbacks of alcohol. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, we got an exclusive offer for all of our listeners, 20% off at shop.getgoodfuels.com when you use promo code SNUG at checkout. That's shop.getgoodfuels.com and you get 20% off with promo code SNUG at checkout. That's Good Fuels, real chill, no hangover, must be 21 and over.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Tommy, what's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just finished NXT about a half hour ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, and I am definitely ready to go over this shit.
Definitely, huh? Like you're more than ready to go over it, huh?
Oh, yeah. Got ourselves a brand new NXT Champion, in which we'll go over that later on. I believe in this man.
Yeah,
But
we did.
overall, I liked the show. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that it was not good, but I have to slightly disagree. It had its ups, it had its downs, but for me, it was pretty deep.
You know what? It did have some interesting stuff. But you're right. I have been losing my patience lately with NXT, Tommy, if I'm being completely honest with you, bro. But we saw a new NXT champion that got crowned. A new GM manager also got crowned on this episode of NXT.
Yeah, because Ava announced that she was done general managing NXT. Like, she left after her contract ended.
Yeah. Yeah, what was the story behind that, by the way, Tommy? Because I've heard many different things. I've read many different things. Apparently, Ava went off on like the Trump administration after she got released by the WWE. Like, what do you know about this?
The only thing I really know is that she posted that as soon as her contract ends, in which obviously it did, she was not going to renew it and she was going to step down from the whole GM thing. And then she did, in fact, post, like, fuck ICE and the entirety of the Trump administration. But that's all I really...
Yeah, so there's that going on. And, you know, it's no secret that the WWE and, like, some of, like, the board members like Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Undertaker, you know, former wrestlers like Kane, they're all big Trump supporters. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a big reason why she decided to leave. She was like, man, fuck these people, you know? Even though her dad is still in that same board of directors or whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, she is the daughter of The Rock, who is technically still on that board of directors. But I personally am not quite sure which side he's on, because he loves going back and forth on shit.
Yeah, I think it's whatever benefits The Rock the most in that time where he's like, okay, I'm gonna play on for this side of the team for now. You know, who knows? But
well, apparently it doesn't benefit him to show up to work and finish his own damn stories that he started.
Nah, The Rock can do whatever the fuck he wants at this point. But yeah, dude, I mean, I wasn't really a big fan of Ava's work as a general manager. Not just like the promos that she does or like her acting in the show wasn't the best to me. She wasn't my favorite, you know? So when I heard that she didn't renew, I was like, it kind of made sense because it didn't really seem like either she didn't have it or she wasn't like giving it her all. Sometimes it felt like she was kind of just there, you know, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like she wanted to be there, kind of, you know?
Yeah, I do get that, and I do get the feelings on that, because I also did feel that way, which is why my initial thought was that she was only there because Rock's daughter. But
Yeah.
as soon as Ava stepped down, Shayna Baszler tried to throw her hat into the ring for GM. And Ava was like, hey, no, give it a couple more days. Come on.
Well, when was this? Was this like on the internet? Because this didn't happen on the show, did it?
No, it was on Twitter. Shayna Baszler posted a picture of herself and then said something along the lines of, so NXT needs a new GM.
Oh, fuck. That's funny. I mean, what's his name? Stone? Is it Robert Stone?
Yeah,
The
it's
new
Robert
GM?
Stone.
He's like a former pro wrestler. He was like Ava's assistant. He's been on NXT for a long time. I think he was a manager at some point for some other wrestlers, right?
I believe so, but I can't remember off the top of my head who.
Well, they made him the interim general manager, which means like temporary, technically, right? This isn't like the official general manager for NXT, right?
I believe so, but then again, he did pull out a very big call during this show.
Yeah, we'll get to that part because that was one of the things that I have a lot of questions about. He pulled out a big call, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But we'll get there later on. If I'm being honest, dude, Sonya Deville was a general manager for Monday Night Raw, right? At some point.
Yeah, she was.
And I remember her, dude. I thought she was pretty good. I thought she was pretty decent. I wouldn't mind seeing Sonya Deville as the general manager of NXT.
But the thing is, she's also dealing with everything over on TNA right now.
Which is what? What's everything?
She's currently, like, basically co-managing, I guess, the entirety of TNA with Santino Marella.
Didn't she turn on Santino Marella the same night she showed up?
No, she announced the new entrant into the roster, that being formerly known as Cora Jade.
Right, but the way that she did it was very heelish. Like, I didn't tell Santino that I hired this person. I'm just going to do what I want or something like that.
Yeah, that is true. Then again, this is Sonya Deville we're fucking talking about here. She doesn't like going in and telling people shit.
All right, so we got that announcement that Robert Stone is a new NXT manager, general manager, interim general manager. And then the first match was Lola Vice. It was a triple threat match, right? The North American Championship was on the line. Izzy Dame defending versus Lola Vice. And who was the third one? Thea Hale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Again, another triple threat match, which is kind of crazy because the main event of this episode of NXT was a 7-man ladder match. First, it was 6-man ladder match, which turned into 7-man ladder match at some point.
Self-cleared.
Right. So I'm like, all right. But this women's triple threat match, they got me, dude. I actually enjoyed it. I did not think I would, but I did. A big part of that was Booker T. Booker T and his fucking ad-libs on commentary were popping me throughout this whole entire match. I think that was like the main reason why I liked it so much, because that was fucking hilarious. Also, Lola Vice, man, she's starting to grow on me. She's starting to grow on me because she's like, as of late, or maybe I'm just starting to notice, Lola Vice has been a lot more serious, a lot stiffer, a lot meaner. Like, she looks like she's onto something now. She's not really doing the whole spicy Latina thing that she likes to do, you know? And we had a couple run-ins in this triple threat match as well, right?
We had one from Kalani Jordan, who ended up using a ladder to smash Lola Vice's.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Which led to Izzy Dame retaining this North American Championship in this triple threat match. But because it was triple threat match, it was no disqualification. Kalani Jordan ran out there. I was expecting to see Tatum Paxley, but no Tatum Paxley here.
No Tatum throughout the entirety of this show, which I found very interesting. But surprise, surprise to literally no one, Kalani does what Kalani wants to do at this point. especially when she was asked later on in the show, hey, why did you go out there and smash Lola Vice's hand? Her response was simple. How is she going to knock anybody out when I just took out her hand? Like, girl, she has another hand. So she could still knock your ass out pretty quickly. But I really did like this match. Good old Thea Hill surprisingly carried this with Izzy Dame, especially by the end of it. But it's very, very clear that Izzy Dame retaining was in fact the right call, since I have a feeling like good old Tatum Paxley is absolutely going to go after.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I thought it was cool that they're keeping Thea Hell in that North American title picture after the way that she won it and everything. They're not just like burying that under the rug, you know, they're actually trying to make something out of that. I thought that was good. Lola Vice was protected in that finish. She got taken out. Izzy Dame just won it, and she retained here. So I thought for the most part, everything in this match, besides the fact it was a triple threat match, it made sense. The action was good. And these triple threat matches, when you have multiple people in the ring, I can imagine it's not very easy when it's just like a one-on-one compared to a one-on-one. So yeah, I'm going to give these women props on this opening match, man. Very, very entertaining. Anything else, Tommy, you want to add about this?
Not other than the fact that Lola, as you said, was absolutely protected with this. So she is still clear to go. Good luck, Kalani Jordan, because you took out one hand. You didn't take out the other.
And we finally heard from Tony D'Angelo. This dude said that he hasn't been able to speak to the fans in 7 months. That's a really long time. But, I mean, I wasn't watching NXT when he left, but he did explain everything pretty briefly and pretty well. For those of us that haven't been watching NXT week to week, back to back for the past year or whatever, because I just started watching NXT again every week just a few months ago. So I was just seeing Tony D'Angelo showing up, beating people up, and just leaving. Not saying a goddamn word, looking different, getting arrested, getting kicked out of the performance center, and he's just mute. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this guy's problem? What's his deal? But he pretty much laid it out for everyone. And he cut a good promo. It made sense. He's here for the Dark State. The Dark State cost him his whole family. You know, everything that he had. So he's here for them, and one other reason. But you will find out the other reason later. And I was like, okay. Now I'm interested, Tommy.
I am starting to wonder what that other reason is, knowing the fact that all of his different appearances up until now, there isn't really anything consistent about it. He's like in the back during North American title matches. He's over here looking at the NXT title. He's in the back looking at regular matches. There's nothing really consistent with what the hell he's looking at here. But yeah, Dark State took him out a while back. It's good to finally fucking hear from him after that return. So, Tony D'Angelo, welcome back. Deal with Dark State and then tell us what the hell that other half is, because I'm very interested to see what the hell is next after you're done with Dark State.
But my only concern or question I should say about this whole thing, Tony D'Angelo mentioned that he's here for the Dark State. They cost him his family, his friends, you know, everything that he had. And Stax right now is a heel. Stax is involved with Lexis King right now. Tony D'Angelo is going to need help. There's 5 of these guys. Like, what is it? He's going to have to form a new faction? Didn't he just come out of a faction?
He did. He just came out of the D'Angelo family. Right after he got attacked is when that entire family just disbanded and all of that. But I have a feeling like Joe Hendry might help him out, since he helped out Joe Hendry in that no DQ match, that street fight, I believe it was, with Dion Lennox.
Okay.
So I have a feeling like Joe Hendry might help him out there. But then again, that is still a 5-on-2 situation. What the hell would end up being the other 3?
Yeah. See, that's the thing that it's kind of like, huh? Like, I wonder what they're gonna do there, because it seemed like the way that Tony D'Angelo was looking was he was riding solo, right? I'm like, okay, they're getting rid of that whole faction thing, and they're gonna give him a serious solo run by himself, no faction, no nothing, right? And then they're gonna put him up against the Dark State, a feud with another faction. So it's like, well, I think he's just gonna go back to being in another group. At least that's what it seems like. It feels like that, doesn't it?
I mean, my guess besides Joe Hendry is maybe he reunites with some of the D'Angelo family, but then again, there's really not many left that are actively being used and aren't just sitting there in catering.
I mean, who even is that? The only one I remember is Stax. Who are the other guys? I don't even remember. I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember for the life of me what the hell their names are, but if you put their faces in front of me, I would probably be able to recognize them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. All right, Tommy, we had Elion Lefleur, the French luchador guy. Did I say his name right? Probably not.
I think you said that ending right, but I don't think you said the beginning part of it right.
All right. Well, I tried, but this was a speed match, and he went up against William Regal's boy, right? Yeah. Charles Dempsey. And these are 3-minute matches. Like, someone has to win under 3 minutes. So they has that urgency where, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and get this pin in a 3-minute mark. So it's fast paced, fast action. You know, I really like Dempsey in this thing. I haven't really seen a lot of him. He doesn't really get used a lot on NXT, at least since I've been watching it these past few months. But he looks like he's pretty good, man. I actually like this match for what it was. LaFleur is a new guy. They're trying to showcase him. Dempsey is pretty good. And LaFleur got the win, right?
Yeah, he got the win within the final 10 seconds of the match. So it definitely went down to the wire. But I would expect nothing less from these two, especially after seeing how LaFleur debuted and his first match and how that went. It was only a matter of time that they put him in the speed title picture, because the speed title is just made for luchadors at this point, because luchadors are notorious for being extremely fast-paced wrestlers. So a match that I would love to see, give me Tavion Heights versus LaFleur. Give me that.
I think the current speed champion would argue that belt is not for luchadors, because it's fucking a really big guy that I always forget his fucking name. But anyway.
The only thing I remember about this man is the fact that he's the slowest man on the fucking roster right now.
But he's huge, man. He's strong. He's pretty good. But this match, the speed match with LaFleur and Dempsey, kind of served two purposes, because they're trying to tell that story with Lexis King is trying to recruit all these like second generation superstars, right? And I think Dempsey getting this loss, I think it's going to lead to, oh shit, maybe Lexis King is right. Maybe I do need help. Maybe I should get some backup, some advice from some of these guys, you know? And I think Dempsey might be joining the Lexis King crew, no?
Yeah, it seems like that, even though he is part of Ren QCC with that. But if you want advice, how about you just go to Ethan Page? It seems like he's just given all of that out very easily.
Yeah. All right, Tommy. Up next, we had the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions were on NXT. And the name of the group from TNA, the champions are Lash By Elegance, or what are they called?
I believe so, yeah, because all of them seem to have like their first name and then by elegance at the end of it. So I believe the actual name itself is the elegance.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing elegant about what they do in the ring, if I'm if I'm being honest. No, they wrestled Sol Ruka and Zarya. And let me get this straight here, Tommy. Help me out. Zarya is mad at Sol Ruka. She has been for the past few weeks because Zarya feels like Sol Ruka gets all these opportunities and Zarya doesn't get them. And Sol Ruka is taking advantage of these opportunities. And Zarya is mad at Sol Ruka for taking advantage of those opportunities. So Zarya is basically jealous of Sol Ruka, and they're not getting along because Sol Ruka is like the Shawn Michaels of the tag team, basically, is what I'm getting here.
Pretty much, yeah. But the most recent thing that Zarya is pissed off about is Sol Ruka being in the Rumble, because Zarya didn't know shit about it. She was trying to call her a crap ton of times last week, and there was nothing coming from Sol, in which we did kind of get an explanation for that, and the fact that Sol was apparently told not to tell anybody that she was going to be in the Rumble, but Zarya was still pissed about it.
It sounds like Zarya has weird attachment issues, bro. This is what it sounds like to me.
Wouldn't be surprised on that.
Like, yeah, I know you got one of the biggest opportunities of your career to be in the Royal fucking Rumble, and I'm mad at you because you went to Saudi Arabia without telling me. Like, bro, are you... All right. Anyway, these two teams.
Zarya would have wanted to be there at ringside, but then again, the only person that ever really did was Paul Heyman and Alba Fire.
Yeah, that's not how that works, bro. No one is at fucking ringside at the Rumble usually. And Zarya is not going to be out there. No, that just does not make sense. Sorry, Zarya, but you need to get over it. So yeah, they're having their little personal issues or weird feelings, Zarya and Sol Ruka. They get this tag team title match for the titles that aren't even for NXT, they're for TNA, and they lose. They lose because I believe there was some type of distraction from another tag team, right? Is that what happened?
No, the ending of it ended up being Sol Ruka accidentally soul snatched Zarya, in which the Elegance brand then took advantage.
Right, but what led to that was some other girls came out and tried to get involved in this match. Wasn't it like JC Jane's girls or something like that?
There was some. So, now that I think about it, no,
there was something
that Zarya said later on in the show during a different segment.
Yeah, there was some. First of all, this match was so fucking long, and I'm not blaming it on like Sol Ruka and Zarya. I think Zarya is actually pretty good, but people seem to like Sol Ruka a lot more, so she's the one getting the push, right? And Sol Ruka is a good athlete. It's just these girls from TNA, man, were the ones that were just like, oh my god. And they're the champions, right? And
yeah, the Elegance brand are, in fact, the Knockouts Women's Tag Champs, in which I'm with you in the fact that they didn't show it. They really did not feel like champions.
They don't feel like champions, bro. So there was part of me that wanted to see Sol Ruka and Zarya win it, because it's like they're the better, clearly not just like the bigger stars, but they're the better tag team in this. But I know it wasn't going to make sense for them to beat them. And again, it goes to like people saying that, oh, well, you know, TNA always gets beat on WWE TV. Well, no, that's not true. And here's a perfect example of that.
Not to mention, just look at Leon Slater.
Well, Leon Slater gets beat on WWE TV all the time.
Yeah, but not like as often as people would love to say he does.
No, yeah, that's true. But yeah, you're right. there was some type of miscommunication between Zarya and Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka hits her finisher that a lot of people love, and I just think it's a little bit absurd. One of the girls from the Elegance brands throws Zarya in the way of Sol Ruka while she's trying to hit her finisher. Perfectly timed it too. I got to give the girl from from Elegance props on her timing, because the only way this spot could work is it has to be perfectly timed. So she pushed Zarya right at the perfect moment for Sol Ruka to hit Zarya with their finisher. And it looked nice. It looks beautiful and everything, but it takes perfect timing from all of these women to get that spot right. And they did it pretty good.
Yeah, that's the problem with multi-man matches. Doesn't matter if it's like a fatal four-way, a triple threat, a tag. Everything has to be like perfectly planned and executed, even better than they would be with a regular one-on-one match. That's just how it is. But this, Zarya, loved how she was. So it's very clear that those two are going to break up at some point. They are absolutely leading to probably Zarya betraying Sol Ruka would be my guess after all of this. But hey, we'll see how this goes next week, especially when we get to that segment.
All right. Our boy, Lexis King, he was in a tag team match. Him and Stax wrestled Chase U in a tag team match, right? But this was a short tag team match. I don't think it went more than maybe 3 or 4 minutes, I want to say. Lexis King and Stax got a pretty convincing win here. But again, we just saw a tag team match on the women's division where Zarya, Sol Ruka are having issues. And then we go on to another tag team match with the men. And Chase U are having issues too. Kind of the same thing where one of the guys from Chase U is not really liking his partner. So it's I kind of felt like this whole thing was kind of repetitive. We just saw one tag team have issues. Now we're seeing another tag team have issues. It's just fuck, none of these tag teams are getting along. What the hell?
Yeah, I think at this point, tag teams in themselves are going to end up breaking up left and right at this point, especially since there are a few of them that are staying together, keeping everything strong and all of that. But Chase U is not one of them at all. But I am very interested to see how in the world Stax and Lexis King are going to go on moving forward at this point, especially knowing the fact that good old Lexis King is actually being taken seriously again. So I'm ready to see what in the world Lexis King and Stax are going to end up doing in the future.
Yeah, this is the second week in a row where Lexis King gets the pin. Last week he had a singles match versus Tavion Heights and beat him. And this time in a tag team match, got the win again, and Lexis King got the pin again for his team. So that was cool to see, right?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely really cool to see that. Like I said, Stax is great and all, but Lexis King is definitely the one that needs to give the pins and all of that, just so people will take him seriously at this point.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we had this segment where we had JC Jane, her faction. Kendall Gray was out there with the girl that she hangs out with. Zarya and Sol Ruka are all out there arguing about a whole bunch of different stuff that honestly it's hard for me to keep up with because there's so many people in the ring at the same time saying all these different things, and they all are sharing their feelings about their own issues, individual issues, and it's just white noise to me, if I'm being honest. And then the new manager, Stone, comes out and he makes an announcement, but I want to see if I can play the actual announcement because I don't really remember what he said. And if I do,
I will say what you said because I definitely.
Okay, let me see here. Let me try some. One moment. All right, never mind. Just tell us.
So what he said is that next week there will be a tag match between Renku CC and Zaruka. Whoever gets the pin for their team will end up facing JC Jane when they go over to Georgia for
Oh my God.
the NXT Women's Championship.
Oh boy. So he's just going to put these two girls against each other again, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. But then again, this is a stipulation that we have seen before. And I believe we've seen it on the main roster.
I don't think so. That's got to be an NXT exclusive thing.
If we have, then I can't remember exactly when. If we haven't, then I'm wrong. But this stipulation, I am ready for it. Obviously, Renku CC, they're fine. But it's going to be very interesting to see how in the world Zarya and Sol Ruka do, especially with the problems they've got. Like, will Zarya want to stay the majority of the match in? Will she tag in Sol? Will Sol tag in herself? We don't know. But it's going to be very interesting to see who in the world ends up going against JC Jane. But the gist of what everybody was saying was, hey, I want that NXT title. That's about it.
At that point, just make it a fatal four-way. Clearly, these women are not, and I know I get it for the sake of storytelling. You know, oh, we're just gonna just so happen to have this stipulation while these two girls don't get along, right? It makes sense, but also at the same time, it's like, this is the first major announcement of this interim general manager, and he kind of comes off like a dick. Like, hey, yeah, let's make this situation even worse for these girls. Like, what? I don't know.
I do think that overall, it could have been, even with the story with Zarya and Sol, it would have been told even better with a fatal four-way. With a number one contender fatal four-way.
Just put them against each other. I mean, they've been wanting to beat each other up anyway. Fuck it. Put them against each other.
Like, those two have been going back and forth, back and forth. Are they friends? Are they not? It's basically the start of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss all over again at this point. But it would have been told even better if it was just a number one contendership fatal four-way right then and there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, let them fight it out, and then they can figure out after if one of them wins, if they want to keep being friends or not, or if they want to keep fighting, you know? That would have been a lot more interesting. But hey, whatever. We'll see what happens with that. And speaking of interesting, we got the main event now, Tommy. The 7-man ladder match where we had Joe Hendry, Shiloh Hill, Ricky Saints, Keanu Reeves. I'm kidding. Keanu Carver. And I couldn't tell you who the other three guys are because I don't give a fuck about them. No, I shouldn't say that. I don't know who they are. I couldn't tell you. But somehow...
the other two were from Evolve. It was Sean Legacy, and then it was one of the ones that literally just got called up. It was the men's Evolve champion, but I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell his name.
Yeah, like, I guess, give these guys that aren't even on NXT a title shot for the NXT Championship. Okay. But yeah, this match, these matches on NXT, whatever type of match it is, their pacing is crazy, their intensity, they're high flying. So when you add 7 guys and a whole bunch of ladders, I knew I had to stick around to see it because I knew some crazy shit was going to happen. And they did. They had a lot of crazy spots, a lot of holy shit moments. Luckily, I don't think anyone got seriously hurt, although they came pretty close a few times. We also saw Shiloh Hill walk using a ladder.
Like fucking stilts.
Yeah. And then they had this, they set up this nice little spot for Keanu Carver to break a ladder in half to kind of show how big and strong he is. but they did a close up on the ladder before he actually broke it, and you can tell it was clearly already like out of place. Obviously it was a gimmick ladder, but they kind of exposed themselves on that one, which I thought, man, that kind of took away from that spot from Keanu Carver, which I thought it would have been, it would have looked cool if they didn't show us that the ladder was already gimmicked, but hey, a lot of shit happens. A lot of shit goes wrong in these types of matches. So it's like, whatever. Yeah, then Keanu Carver speared, I believe it was, I forgot. Someone got speared through one of the wooden walls in there on ringside. A lot of amazing moments in this match. It was pretty cool. And kind of like I was hoping, man. I was kind of hoping either Ricky Saints or Joe Hendry would win this, and it was Joe Hendry. So he's the new NXT champion going into this new era, if you can call it that, where we got a new GM, we got a new NXT champion. NXT is going to feel different moving forward now, Tommy.
Yeah, good old Joe Hendry. He's been absolutely over with the crowd. So him becoming NXT champion is not surprising. Luckily, both of your boys ended up being the final two on top of that ladder, going back and forth for that title. So there's that. Plus, there's the fact that these men, all six of them, other than Keanu Carver, they all don't agree on much. But the one thing they could agree on is that they needed to do something about Keanu Carver. So what did they do? They buried this man in a crap ton of ladders. So, like I said, they do not agree on much, but that was the one thing that they all agreed on, is that they needed to deal with Keanu Carver, in which he'd had that really cool spot where he came up even from underneath a crap ton of ladders that I don't even know how the hell all of those even fit underneath the ring. But he still was buried underneath these things, and then he essentially just rose up from the ashes of ladder and just came right back up. So I found that to be a really, really cool spot. But like I said, I believe in Joe Hendry, and he is officially our new NXT champion. And I am very interested to see where in the world this goes and who is next to face Joe Hendry for that NXT title.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked how they did that with Keanu Carver, burying him under the ladders, and also the only way that they were able to take him out completely was with that big spot where, Keanu Carver was on top of a ladder, on top of the ring, and they pushed them off all the way to the ground on top of another ladder. So it kind of shows like, okay, this guy is, he's a serious threat. He's a big guy. So the only way that Joe Hendry was able to win was because Keanu Carver he took that big, massive bump. So they made Keanu Carver, they kind of protected him, because it was going to take a lot to keep him down. And that was a lot. So that was, I thought that was great.
It's very clear that if that didn't happen, Keanu Carver, even with the limited amount of experience that he has in NXT right now, he absolutely would have been the one holding that NXT title if none of that happened.
Well, yeah, he was destroying everybody left and right, dude. He was the one that really, as he should be, because he was the biggest guy there, the fastest guy there. But obviously, experience and brains when Joe Hendry won this one. I think that's the story that they're trying to tell here. But when it comes to who's next to face Joe Hendry, it can be any one of these guys, to be honest. Hell, it could be Ricky Saints, Shiloh Hill's getting a massive push. I would love to see Keanu Carver get a shot at it, I don't know about the other two Evolve guys, but yeah, man, a lot of potential candidates for Joe Hendry to feud with, I think.
Honestly, a match I would love to see is them go at it once again, because the last time that Ethan Page had the NXT title, Joe Hendry went after him while he was still in TNA. like pretty much at the very beginning of this partnership with TNA. So I would not mind them running that back, but with Joe Hendry as NXT champion.
Yeah, and now that Ava's gone, maybe they can get rid of that ridiculous rule that Ethan Page can't go after the NXT championship unless he relinquishes the North American championship, which makes no goddamn sense. So yeah, maybe there is a shot after all for Ethan Page. All right, Tommy. Well, that was what went down on NXT this week. That was the NXT review with the Snug Wrestling crew. And it's time to get up out of here.
All right. Stay safe. Stay savage. Stay snug. Make sure to catch us right back here tomorrow for a one-on-one on TikTok Live between the main head himself, Snug, along with Mr. Blood, in their weekly one-on-one where they just go through, answer crowd questions, and go through relevant or recent wrestling news. Come right back here every Wednesday. Yeah, every Wednesday for NXT. Got Monday. We got Friday. This week is probably going to be like a couple days later for stuff on Snug's side. But at the end of the day, go get your merch. We've got pretty much everything you fucking name at this point. You name it, we probably got it. So, that was one time for the one time. 4 letters. 1 word. Oh,